I'm here in Gothenburg in Sweden today to try out a couple of innovations that Volvo has been working on. I shall be driving the second generation of Volvo's C30 Electric, which is a purely battery-powered edition of its small coupe. I've driven that before in the first generation, but Volvo has made a raft of improvements. It's got a new and more powerful motor, and it's got a new charging system which allows the system to get back up to full power in about half the time before. And for this second generation, the Swedish company's been working with Siemens on some of the electrical systems. Siemens is a company with 100 years of history working with electrical machines, but it's not big in the automotive space, whereas Volvo obviously knows how to build cars, but doesn't have quite the same expertise at building electric cars. So the two companies are working together to try and productionise the technologies that they'll need for full electric production. I drove the first generation C30 Electric a couple of years ago, and this second generation is really quite similar behind the wheel. It's got a little bit more power than the previous generation. This is 120 horsepower, the previous version was 110. It's not really something you can detect from behind the wheel. They feel very similar. Both of them are very well sorted cars. They're very smooth to drive, very easy to drive around town, and actually quite speedy. It's a shame that Volvo haven't really sorted out the business model yet that would let them put an electric car like this electric C30 into production. For the moment, this is a small volume production. They're making 100 of this second generation car. They made 250 of the first generation car. For Volvo, it's going to be wait and see how the market develops, and they want to make sure that they've got a product that's ready to go as soon as the market is there. And if this car is anything to go by, they certainly got the technology sorted. It's can they produce it, make money out of it, is the business model there? So those are the questions that they need to answer. So under the skin of this electric C30, there's a big T-shaped battery that runs down the centre of the car and under the back seats, and that powers an electric motor driving the front wheels up the front of the car. It feels fairly normal to drive, a lot like an automatic car would, although like most other electric cars, it's incredibly smooth, incredibly quiet and very comfortable. The weight of those batteries set low down as well means that it handles quite well. It feels very flat around corners. There's a lot of roundabouts here in Gothenburg, and zipping around those, it's very stable, and very planted on the road. Well, I've had a fascinating day today driving the new second generation Volvo C30 Electric. It's a very well engineered car. It's very nice to drive, it's very capable. We drove a considerable distance this morning, stopped for lunch and made use of the new high power charger to bring it back up to full power in the time that it took to have a fairly decent lunch actually. And this afternoon we've had a run back to the airport, which has been very pleasant, very nice car to drive. It's a shame in a way that Volvo has no plans to put this car into production immediately. I mean, it really is ready, it's ready to go, it's a very persuasive car. But Volvo is just waiting for the time to be right to put this kind of car onto the market. I hope that will be pretty soon.